Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
This is one saying of Jesus that is easy to remember. It's almost as short as Jesus wept. If you have the faith of the size of a mustard seed. Anybody ever plant a mustard seed? One person? Wow. That's the first one. Okay, but it may not be exactly the kind of mustard seed that you may have planted, because there's all kinds of varieties.
No, mustard seed is mustard
They're
seed.
real small too,
The
no matter
smallest
what.
seed there is.
Small, around the poppy seed that you see on the muffin, if you've ever seen a poppy seed. They're
Yeah.
smaller than
Smaller
that.
than.
Smaller than that.
Small. And I've seen crab apples, right, that are basically a form of fruit and seed, right? So we have a whole range of what's possible in the strength and the power of a seed to bring forth life. And this was a demand that the apostles said to Jesus. It wasn't, they started to feel inadequate. They started to feel the challenge and the weight and the consequence of doing God's work. And they also started to feel the sense of their own limitations, their own sins, their own brokenness. And they had an impulse at once. Lord, give us more. As if he had been holding back and cheating them in order to play some kind of game. So he told them two quick parables about more. Let me tell you a story about it. It's a story that we've heard in our families. Maybe we've lived this story. A story about James, who was the oldest of 3 children, and was preparing, his parents were preparing him to go to college long before he even went to high school. He was going to be the first one, they said, to make it in college. So they worked hard with him in grade school. They made sure they read to him after school and helped him as much as they could, given the new math, with math. And when they couldn't answer certain things, maybe they got a neighbor, a church member, or a friend, or an extended family member to come over and explain things to him if he hit a rough spot. And he made it through grade school with pretty good flying colors. And he was looking forward to high school when most people were dreading it. And he entered high school, and it was even more challenging than anybody thought, because they weren't going to be satisfied with just passing grades. They knew he had to make better grades than that to get some kind of financial aid to go to college, because his family didn't have a lot of means. As a matter of fact, as he entered high school, both the mom and the dad started working 2 jobs, trying to scrape a little bit, put something away on the margins for that day when their hopes for their child to go to college would happen. And he too, as he grew older, raked yards, mowed lawns, shoveled snow, and put away most of it for his school. His name was James, and James worked along with everybody else in the family to make himself successful. And when he went to college, after a little bit of financial aid, some work study, spending some of the parents' savings, he was able to go to his first semester of college. His mom would send up a care package every now and then. They made sure they had a little money in the kitty, and sure enough, he needed it for a tutor when he hit a difficult subject. But he came home that Christmas, completing his first semester. A C, some B's, and 1 A. And everybody was sitting around the Christmas dinner, so happy. Not only that he just passed, but that he was happy with himself and his performance, and The parents were kind of happy too. They didn't know what to expect. They kind of didn't even know whether that was a good set of grades. But they knew he made it, his very first semester. It was seeming to be all worth the struggle. And right before the dinner began, just after the prayer, James looked to his parents and said, "Mom, Dad, I made it through the first semester. I even got an A. What's my reward?" You see why Jesus stopped everything and told these parables to the apostles, who were obviously talking earlier something about, boy, this better be worth it. How many times have we wiped our sweaty brow when we're working on something and say, I sure hope this dinner's going to be worth it. I sure hope this bathroom better be one of the best in the world after we get done doing the tile work. After we fix this porch, after we do this hard work, the reward better be worth it. But see, as a young man, James missed something that you and I know all about. But sometimes we miss it too, because over a lifespan we can forget, just like him. That it was the hard work of his parents and the grace and love of his parents, his extended family, his neighbors, his pastor, his church members, his friends, that didn't drag him down after a while when he started to excel, and they saw that it was something that he wanted badly. Everybody, it took a village for James to be the first successful college student away from home. And he wasn't seeing all that. He could only see the very little speck, the tiny little size seed of his effort that was kind of like the icing on the cake, the cherry on top, the very last thing that needed to be done. Now, sure enough, if James went to college and completely skipped his classes and didn't do his homework, didn't take the tests seriously, and didn't study, he would have failed and not been able to return the second semester. So he did something, and it was essential that what he did happen in order for there be success. But he only saw what he did, and he forgot about all that everybody else did. His tutor, his teachers, the other students on the floor, the mom from home, the prayers from the church, the pastor's phone call, all those things, didn't really matter that much. What mattered is that I had to stay up till 2 a.m. to study for a test. I had to forego a party in order to pass that midterm. My sacrifices. Lord, make it easier for me so that I don't have to try so hard. And the Lord tells us in the parable today, just like we know about James, that it's not a matter of how much effort you're putting into it. Are you putting effort in or not? Is it there or not? And the parents kind of had an ambivalence about the grades too, because they didn't know if a C was terrible or not, an A was excellent or not. See, what Jesus was trying to say about faith, it wasn't the size of the faith that matters. Faith has no size. It's either there or it's not. The family did its work. James did his work. They either do it or they don't. Whether it's an A or a C is up to individual circumstances and the way that things fall out sometimes. But you either try or you don't. You either have faith or you don't. You're not going to collect it like some great massive muscle buildup so that you can lift so much later and easier. You merely, each one of us, as disciples of Christ, merely need to have faith, not to compare to the other people whether our faith is bigger or smaller, or to when we were younger, whether our faith is bigger or smaller. Are we faithful people or are we faithless people? There's not anything in between, Jesus is saying. It's not about size of a mustard seed. And so, when we come to the end of some accomplishment in our life, spiritual especially, we should say, Lord, if it wasn't for your grace, if it wasn't for my parents that showed me the faith, yes, I took the faith on myself. Nobody forced me. Nobody told me to keep it. Nobody told me to be faithful to it all my life. Nobody told me to repent and forced me to repent. But I did. And I did, and I did, and yes, I failed. I sinned many times. But I repented and returned and tried again and again. And when I get to the end of whatever, 50th anniversary in a marriage, a certain particular birthday, a certain particular anniversary in a church, a certain particular stage in life where you have great grandchildren, or you're able to do something late in life. When you get to those stages, you should say to yourself, Lord, you did it all, almost. And the part that I did was just the part that I did. I only did what you asked me to do. Right? That's what that whole worthless slave stuff is about. It doesn't translate well in the 21st century, but the person is just coming to his master and saying, I only did my part, what I was trained to do, what you fed me for, what you showed me, what you helped me to do. Yes, I did it. And I did what I was supposed to do. I didn't do anything extra. I just did what I was supposed to do. Hopefully, when we come to the end of our lives on this earth and we stand before the Lord, we'll be able to say, Lord, I rather enjoyed some of the great blessings of my life. And yes, I suppose I had something to do with them. But